So actually this topic, how to report horizontal activities, has been an idea of one of you, actually, hopefully that the participant is actually online right now, because we did another webinar in the past, and then we did a survey what kind of other specific topics you would be interested in. And then one of the participants suggested this particular topic. So we said, wow, that's interesting, so let's do this. And interestingly, it generated a lot of discussions also internally. So we were actually not agreeing on a lot of things. So what I will present you is kind of a compromise of all of the experts we have within the Europa Media Group, because there's no, specific recipe on how to report horizontal activities. Also, the Commission is not really giving you detailed guidelines on this. So we are using common sense in many of the cases, but also we are using different approaches. And then these approaches, when we use them to do the horizontal reporting, then we are describing it in the technical reports. So I will tell you all of these approaches and these perspectives, and then you can select one for yourself. Shani, I'm asking my colleague Dori to help you, okay? Dori, can you get in contact with Hashani, because still there are problems with the voice. Okay. So let's see, just a little introduction, and hopefully in the meantime, Hashani will be able to hear me also. So we will start with the presentation as always. There will be around 45 minutes from me, but you can also ask questions in the chat in the meantime. So I will try to follow also what is happening on the chat, and then hopefully I will be able to answer your questions right away as you ask it. If I will miss it as an example, then don't worry, because we have other 15 questions for the question and answer session, and my colleagues will warn me if I don't see something. Okay, so then we will do that, and at the end we will ask you to fill in a survey. It will take 1 minute more or less from your time, but it really helps us to improve the webinars. We actually changed quite a few things since the first one, which was in November 2018. So we are doing it for not a really short time right now, and it helps us to improve, and also it helps us to even generate new topics. So as I said, this is one of the examples that was suggested by a participant. Who we are Europa Media Journal Group. It's basically formulated by two main companies, and then we have been extended ourselves also in the past years. Leonardo is an environmental technology engineering company established in 1999, and they basically started to try out an EU project. That time it was FP5, so the 5th framework program, and they got successful with their first proposal they submitted. So it was kind of a lucky period, so to say. We were still not members of the EU in Hungary, and then they started to do these projects in the field of energy and environment. And they were successful also with other proposals, also in other programs such as Life for Intelligent Energy at that time and so on. And then this experience was gathered by the people who were working at the company. And they thought, why not to share this knowledge? There is a demand out of the market. So we established Europa Media in 2003 at the end of that year. And then we started to organize a lot of different events. We did training courses in Hungarian and also for the international community. We did publications, we developed web portals and so on. So it was quite a successful period when we established Europa Media. And then Europa Media also collected a lot of experience and expertise in science communication and dissemination of the activities, also in social media, developing web platform and so on. So we got designers, we got IT people, we got communication experts and so on. And this also supported us to be partners as a dissemination and communication partner in different EU projects, also in educational projects and also in other type of research projects. So Europa Media also became a project management company. So we established Europa Media Trainings, which is basically the official organization for-profit company organizing training courses and giving consultancy to specific research and innovation-related organizations. And then it's really a new company. It was established just a year ago, Europa Media Innovations, which is kind of a spin-off from an EU project, actually, from a Horizon 2020 project. And we established that to support the startup community and the startup ecosystems all around Europe, based on a Startup Europe projects that we had. So this is more or less the basis of the Europa Media Journal Group. There are other spin-off companies as well that we generated from EU projects. But I don't want to bore you with all of these companies. This is basically the basics. All of those people who are giving out webinars or doing training courses or giving consultancy have to be flesh and bone project managers. So we are dealing on an everyday basis with our own projects and writing our own proposals, and this is why we can share the knowledge and the experience that we have. And this is basically what we do for 20 years now. We're just celebrating the 20th years of anniversary. So that cake is actually from our first celebratory event. We will have actually a lot more throughout the year. So follow us, because we will give a lot of different events and discounts and so on. We have developed new training courses. So there's a lot of things ongoing actually in this year. We have participated in many different projects. We have nice numbers as well, if you're interested. Having more than 30 people really directly involved in more than 400 proposals, managed more than 60 projects. Since FP5 delivered a lot of training courses with a few thousand participants already since 2004, and developed also e-learning courses and webinars as well. So that's me, Gabriela Lovas. I'm the Managing Director of Europa Media Nonprofit within the group. You can contact me on LinkedIn. You can write me an email. No worries, I will reply, hopefully as soon as possible. And also in any other channels, you could contact me and my colleagues at Europa Media if you need any help. So before we start, just to repeat, if you have questions, please write them into the chat. And also we have the question and answer sessions where I will try to answer all of the questions if I don't see that. But still, if something is happening, my colleagues do not realize that you asked the questions that is unanswered, then just drop us an email and we will send you the answer itself. This presentation will be shared to you via an email, okay, after the webinar. And if there will be questions that I see in the chat, but I will have no time to respond, then I will include those questions and the answers to that also into the same presentation that we will send out, okay? Then we start with some basic issues related what is exactly a horizontal activity in a research and innovation project. Then we will check a little bit the portal, how it looks like, and what kind of activities could be then reported, especially under dissemination and exploitation. How would you do cost reporting? Then there's a really short game for you, and then some final messages, takeaway messages. So regarding the horizontal activities themselves, okay, so start with the basics. These are probably the major activities that we consider horizontal. Horizontal meaning that you start dealing with these issues at the beginning of the project and you end with all of these activities, or do not end with these activities when the project finishes. So there are a lot of tasks actually that refer to horizontal activities related to dissemination exploitation also after the end of the project. Let's not forget that you have the legal obligation based on your grant agreement to do dissemination and exploitation related actions for 3 years after the end of the project. And there's an interesting legal obligation as well that if the Commission is asking you, then you should be able to report on these activities that you continue after the end of the project. IP management is another issue, a horizontal activity that basically starts when you put together the proposal. There are a lot of discussions related to IP and the protection of all of those assets that you develop in the project. So that's another horizontal activity that you need to follow through during the project implementation, what kind of results you develop, what kind of assets you have, how will you protect them, and how do you manage then the IPR issues? And innovation management refers to that. But nowadays, towards the end of Horizon 2020 and also within Horizon Europe, you will have to have such an activity, especially in innovation actions. Also in research and innovation actions, this is a useful thing to have, but in innovation